Dune Part 1, in my opinion, was an absolute masterpiece, as Denis Villeneuve brought to life the most intriguing sci-fi world I've ever seen on screen. And I don't expect Dune Part 2 to be any different, as I think Denis Villeneuve has a shot at making the greatest sci-fi movie of the last 2 decades with Part 2. In this video essay, I'm going to break down why Part 2 will be so much better than Part 1, and why audiences who claim the first film was boring will have no choice but to eat their words after Dune Part 2. Many moviegoers claim the first movie was a tad boring and slow. However, I feel as though that opinion only stems from a lack of knowledge of what's to come in the second film, as the first film was crucial to building the world and setting up the absolute storytelling masterpiece that is to come in the sequel. Denis Villeneuve made the intelligent decision of using a film to set up the world and plot with the first movie, and a bold decision that ultimately proved to pay off in the long run. However, I do think that due to the first movie being a bit slower, as it was just a setup, has given audiences a false perception of the story of Dune and Paul Atreides, as they aren't expecting the second film to be very entertaining. However, in my opinion, it may be the most entertaining and tense blockbuster of the last few decades, as the story really picks up in Part 2 as we are introduced to various characters which up the stakes and tension for the film. To begin Part 2, we will be introduced to the Emperor and his daughter Irulan, who will eventually marry Paul Atreides later on. Along with being introduced to the Emperor, we are also introduced to Paul's nemesis, Fade Rotha, who will be played by Austin Butler and is a power-hungry, cruel nephew of the Baron Harkonnen. Due to the introduction of these characters, which greatly upped the stakes of the film, coupled with the growing romance of Paul Atreides and Chani, the story really ups in its entertainment factor and overall intensity. This will automatically put to bed any claims of Dune being boring, as audiences will realise that the first movie was integral to building the story to the point where we can get the fast-paced intensity of Part 2, which is why the first cinematic adaptation of Dune failed, because they skimmed through the world building to entertain the viewers more. However, it ruined the movie as it felt more one-dimensional, as it had no intricate plot details. Another aspect of Dune Part 2 that will contribute to it being more entertaining is the character arc of Paul Atreides. Throughout the first movie, we see constant flash-forward visions from Paul, where he imagines himself as a ruthless, powerful leader in an epic battle sequence. And in Part 2, we will see that journey of Paul going from a scared young man to a powerful, ruthless leader in that insanely tense battle sequence. And due to us seeing that vision numerous times throughout Part 1, we as the audience almost feel as though we have been on this arc with him, and that we have taken the journey ourselves. It's a commonly used directorial tactic, as when he finally arrives at that battle, we already know what's going to come, so our heart rate increases due to us seeing his fate and our fate as an audience. However, it works incredibly well and will only add to the overall intensity and fast-paced entertainment of the second film. Finally, the last reason why Part 2 will shock audiences with how entertaining it is the casting. I mean, the first film had Oscar Isaac, Bautista, Timothee Chalamet, and Zendaya, so you'd think it couldn't get much better than that. However, they have gone and added Austin Butler and Florence Pugh into the mix, which will only add to the incredible performances we have received throughout the Dune saga so far, which adds to the enjoyment factor of the movie, as we feel more invested in the characters as they are portrayed in a more real and humane way due to the insane talent of the cast and depth of the performances. If there is one lesson any of us filmmakers and storytellers can take from Dune, is the importance of world building and not skipping the intricacy of storytelling to get to the entertainment part, as it only detracts from the overall intensity and importance of the story. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video in the new year.